hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going live, such as Facebook, TikTok right now. And soon it will be on YouTube and my channels on Facebook, my pages. So, welcome, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. It is still spooky season, as we all know. We are 6 days in, and Halloween is right around the corner. So, if you're into that type of thing, which a lot of you are, a lot of you viewers that step in and check things out are deep into the Halloween season. Oh, welcome everybody again. Um, let's see here. So far, I did a catch-up video on TikTok and on my pages and Facebook and Instagram. And I do have horror, HORROR, up for sale when it comes to, many different things. When it comes to the horror realm of things, we have a lot of different things out there for sale, up for grabs, and if you're interested in any of it, like Mr. Freddy Krueger's claw here, that's not what's for sale. But eventually it will be whenever I get all my 3D printing up and running the way I want it to. Captain Spaulding, Freddy, Batman Who Laughs. He's kind of horror-ish, if you will. Right there, right there. But you know, this is just some of the fun stuff that we get to do around here. Whenever we are, in here doing our thing, and bum, 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 just like that, right there. He's got his gloved hand on. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. All of that good stuff. Um, but we'll put him right there where you can kind of see him in the camera, where he's kind of watching you guys. All right. So this past Saturday, which you guys probably saw if you checked out my page. But don't forget to like, share, and follow. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And what we do here is we talk about artwork, comic book artwork, my comic books, horror movies, sci-fi movies, anything that is cool, pop culture related, and all of that good stuff. Ghosts, goblins, things that go bump in the night, you know. And I put pineapple on my pizza. So do I. That's the best topping on a pizza sometimes. Good old pineapple pizza. It's awesome stuff. Yes, that is a topic of controversy for a lot of people, but because pineapple shouldn't be on pizza, well, why do they make a dessert pizza as well? All that good stuff. But pineapple on pizza is awesome. So you're not starting controversy here. You're just feeding into it. But thanks for the comment. That's awesome. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Get your friends over here and let them watch. This past Saturday, we met a couple of moonshiners, Mr. Mark Ramsey and Mr. Digger, Eric Maines. And they were pretty cool guys. Awesome fellas to talk to. We chit-chatted with them for just a little bit while we were getting our autographs from them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the show Moonshiners. And what's the other one? Bum, bum, bum. Crap. Master Distiller. That's what it is. And they've got some cool stuff out there. Now, a lot of it is fake, stuff that they do, just because they are legal distillers, and they have a big show, and a lot of people don't like it just because it's like, oh well, it's all fake and stuff like that. Well, we get that. It's just for entertainment purposes only. And so, but they were a cool bunch of people, you know. And so, I'm so leaky. Well, congratulations. Go to the bathroom. All right, so right here we got some Sugarland Shine right here. This is their 120 proof stuff. There is Mark Ramsey's autograph, and there is Mr. Digger's autograph right there. Oops, let me get a better shot of it right there. Bum, bum, bum. For you guys up here as well, you get Digger and you get Mark Ramsey right there. He puts Moonshiner on all his stuff. And it was just quite funny because my girlfriend, I just got her a new shirt off of the TikTok shop that has the F uck off, with a chicken underneath it. So he's crowing this out and fuck off, that type of thing. And Digger was like, "Oh, I got to get me one of those shirts." So whoever made that shirt up, kudos to you. Uh, Mr. Digger is looking to get one themselves, you know. And so then I asked them if they would sign my shirt, and they were gracious enough to do it. Right here, right there, right there. There is Mr. Digger's autograph right there. And it's no different than going to a comic book convention and getting people to sign stuff for you. Of course, Moonshiner, Mark Ramsey, right there. And again, very cool guys. Um, Down to earth gentlemen. And we were even cracking jokes with each other back and forth, And because I was like, I thought you'd be bigger in person. He was like, well, yeah, that was Mark, you know. It was just funny. So you had to be there. But they had a good show out. I wouldn't say they had a great show out, but they had plenty of people show up for the event. Now I don't know if they advertised it enough or if they just tried to keep it low key in a way, because I never heard it on any of the radio stations. I never heard it on uh, any of the news channels or anything like that. But they are doing a tour right now, uh, hitting up different um, alcohol stores, if you will. Um, and they're going to be in Tennessee here pretty soon. So if you're in the Tennessee area, you can see Market and Digger out over there. But it was a fun time. It was a great time had. Uh, Great guys, like I said, very down to earth gentlemen. And I wish we could have, you know, got to sit there and chit chatted with them for a little bit longer than we did. But it was very interesting, to say the least. But again, I don't think it was a huge turnout, just because I don't know, how they advertised it. They had more posters inside of Sodi's, the local alcohol store here in Fort Smith area, than I saw around town anywhere. Because they had at least 6 to 8 different. Um, well, they were all the same, but they were spread out all over the store. Uh, Posters inside the store and on the doors, but it was just like, well, and the girlfriend and I got to talking about it. It's like, well, maybe they didn't want to advertise it too heavy to where they ended up with, wall to wall people where people couldn't get in, buy their stuff and get out. But it's just one of those nostalgic things where you get to see, people that you've watched on TV or in movies and things like that. And it's no different than, like I said, going to a comic book convention and getting autographs there from, artists and movie stars and things of that nature. Now, I used to work in the industry where I was an escort for movie stars when I worked at Walmart. And we used to take them from their green room to the stage and all that stuff for their performances and things like that. So I'm not starstruck like a lot of people are when it comes to, different uh, meeting different people and things like that. Because through that job, which was the only nice thing about that job until they took it away from me, is that I did get to meet several different celebrities, from a president to uh, many different bands who I used to escort, such as Katy Perry, Three Doors Down, Rod Stewart. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that I have met and had the opportunity to talk to just a little bit whenever we were going from their green room to the stage. And so, meeting celebrities is cool and all, but it's not one of those things that I'm just like a lot of people where they're wetting themselves, like that one leaky guy that was on here just a minute ago. And, you know, and so I'm not, I don't get starstruck like that. But it is fun just to meet different people that you've watched their entire career, if you will, on the silver screen. Because had we not been watching Moonshiners, we wouldn't have known who Mark and Digger were, period. Just like Tim Smith or Tickle or, any of those guys that are on the shows. And then it would be like, well, I don't know who they are. I don't care. you know? So, there you go. Let's see here. Going to see. It's laggy over here. On that side, it looks like. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. So I'm getting a good baud rate over here, but you never can tell when it's going out live over there. All right, so it is spooky season. Like I said, if you have checked out my page, you are going to see that I did a catch up video. Today I will post another video of another piece of horror artwork that I have available for you to purchase. Now, that being said, some of these will be turned into shirts. I think I'm going to turn the Ash into a shirt because that was for a Ash versus the Evil Dead, basically, or Evil Dead Ash. That was going to be um, for a card set that Topps was going to produce, but I think they canceled the whole set because I never heard another thing from it. Just like the Elvira set that I did a piece for that I was going to, or that they were going to produce, not me, they were going to produce, but then that fell through the cracks or whatever, and they didn't do it. So, um, so this ash that I've got, I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn it into a T-shirt because it's a pretty cool ash, and things of that goody good nature. Bum, bum, bum. So, be looking forward to the next drop art piece for the horror section out there, and we will go from there. Just going to make sure I'm still green over here. I haven't charged these babies up, which I guess I could. Well, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Just because I have that opportunity right here to get that going and get that charged up, just like that. All right, so we are doing a lot of commissions right now, and we are blowing through a lot of things. Just like this one is ready for color now. Bum bum bum. This is kind of a horror piece, if you will, right there. This is one that I just finished inking up and put in a lot of elements, a lot of details, things of that nature, in the creatures and all that good stuff right there. And little flying creatures in the background. And so now it's ready for color. I've started the inking process of the other one that you guys have seen if you've been here live with us at all. That was a mashup of a Dreki and a Wolver from God of War. The person that is commissioning it, that is one of his favorite video games, is God of War, and so he wanted to do a mashup of a Dreki and a Wolver to see what it would look like. and that's what I came up with from his version. Now I've got a bigger version in the background right behind his idea, and so mine was a little bit different than his, but because originally he gave me full creative uh, ability to do what I wanted to, but then he came back and was like, "Have you started that yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet." He was like, "Okay, this is what I'm thinking." So, but you get that with clients. Sometimes they want you to have full creativity and run with it, but then all of a sudden they're coming back at you and be like, "No, no, no, hold on, just a second. This is what I'd like to see. This is what I'm envisioning. Yada yada yada." So you run with their idea, even though you've got your own idea, and that's why I put mine in the background. Um, Whenever you're looking at that piece, and it still has the Drekkie tail from the alligator looking creature, the Drekkie, and then you've also got your Wolver portion to it. But I made mine bulkier, kind of like a Hulk style, because of the bulk of the Drekkie itself. The Wolver is a thinner beast, a werewolf type creature, if you will. So that's why I used the Wolver body for his, because that's what he wanted. And so it's a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. Whereas with the Drekkie pulling all that weight, you've got the Wolver aspects, but you've got more of the Drekkie uh, makeup, if you will. So next, we are working on another mashup, which is Kingdom Hearts and Blade Runner mashed up together. Right here, right here. And I've started working on Chris here. Bum, 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 the female character in the Blade Runner series. She's stepping between both worlds, if you will, right there. And Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which is his friend's favorite character, and Decker from Blade Runner are Decker's fighting the darkness characters in Kingdom Hearts, and Sora is fighting the replicants from the Blade Runner world. And if you look into the background, you can see the worlds inside the rift that is being torn apart in between them. So, so that one's not quite a horror piece, but the other one is more of a horror piece in and of itself. Now, if you're into horror stuff like that, you can get Rogue Morgue, Rue Morgue, I believe is what it's called. It's a magazine out there. You've got um, Fangoria. You got heavy metal kicking off again. Um, the list goes on and on of different magazines that you can get if you're interested in that type of stuff. Just like Vampirus Camilla. Bum bum bum. Which I guess I should have went ahead and got the other one, because I thought this was 26. It's actually 28, and 29 is out right now. But this is a cool black and white comic book style in here, and this is the style of stuff that I want. I gotta skip that page. I can't show you guys that page. This is the type of artwork that I want to do inside of my comic book. The black and white stuff, um, where it's crisp, clean, and very awesome looking. You know, because I've thought about doing it in color, but then it's like, well, let's do the first one black and white style with the color covers and all that good stuff. Just because reminiscent of 1984 or 86, I believe it was 84, could have been 82. It's somewhere in the 80s when the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. They had color covers, black and white interiors with Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As you know, if you have read the comic book at any point in time, the original series of Turtles had all red bandanas, red eye coverings, red belts, and no differentiating in colors, because Eastman and Laird didn't care that you couldn't tell them apart, other than their weaponry. And that's how and their names, of course, are based off of the Renaissance painting art, or the Renaissance artists, the painters back in the day. And then, of course, Splinter and Shredder and all that good stuff with those turtles. And if you ever watched or read those comic books back in the 80s, they were not made for kids. There was a lot of violence, if you will. Now, us kids of that generation loved that stuff, you know, because when that came out, I was probably 13, 12 or 13 years old when that came out in the 80s. And, you know, I wish I would have picked it up then had I known about it. That's just something I didn't realize was out there because I didn't really get into comic books until 1987, 88, 86, 80, somewhere between 86 and 88. Because the very first comic I picked up that a friend of mine had at his house, because he got a subscription sent to his mailbox, which I didn't know was a thing either until he told me about it. And so I read my very first comic book that he had that was one of his subscriptions. And it was the Uncanny X-Men number 186. And it was the fight scene between Colossus and Juggernaut in a bar. You know, they had Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Peter at the time. He wasn't Colossus. They were all going off to blow off some steam at a bar just to have some fun, get some drinks, play some darts, pools, all that good stuff. Well, in walks Mr. Mario Kane, or the Juggernaut, wreaking havoc. Nightcrawler wants to step in, and he wants to stop the fight or help in the fight. And Wolverine's like, "Whoa, hold on. This is the boys' fight. If it gets to the point where things are going to happen and it looks like he's going to get his ass kicked, we'll step in. Or I'll step in," Wolverine says. Mr. Logan. And that's what happens. Juggernaut gets the best of Colossus. And Wolverine steps in by being on the bar because he's 5'2" or 5'5", one of those two. And he steps on the bar, got his claws popped, and he is like, "That's enough. We're done. You guys are done. We're going our separate ways, and we'll live to fight another day." And that's what happens. But it was a very cool read, and that's what got me into comic books hot and heavy, because there was keywords in there that I had to go look up and figure out what the hell they were talking about in their sequence of you know, the pages with their the wording and things like that, and their balloons and all that good stuff. And it was just like, what does this word mean in conjunction to all of this? So you would go look up that word, and that's literally how I started to incorporate things whenever it came down to reading, because I had to go look up words in a comic book. And it's just like, well, comic books were for kids, so they wouldn't have been that. No, they have some sophisticated words in there. Because you got to imagine the guys creating this. Now, not all of them have college degrees or anything like that, but the people writing them were sometimes brilliant people. And I'm not going to say they were, you know, on a metaphysical realm or in a philosophy or anything like that, but they use big words in comic books, especially now. There's words in there that I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know? And so then I have to go look up that word. You know? Sometimes it's a word that I haven't even heard of before. Especially this new lingo in today's generation. It's just like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? And why do we got to abbreviate everything? I got out of the military to not have to abbreviate everything, but here we are abbreviating everything. And it's just like, wow, okay. Now I've got to go relearn the English language into its simplest form, you know? And it's just like, why does everything got to be an abbreviation with you guys out there? But no, that's this generation for you. Me and my walker generation, we you know, pretty soon wheelchairs. Yeah. Nah, it's all good. But again, we met Mark and Ramsey this Saturday from Moonshiners. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. It is out there on all the streaming platforms. Moonshiners, Master Distiller, and I think there might be one other one out there as well that delves into the moonshine business. And they were cool dudes, and we had a lot of fun. So, again, spooky season. Today is day 6. I'll be posting up a new piece of artwork for you guys to purchase. You know, which I've already done a video with 5 different drawings in it, and those are available for purchase right now if you're very interested in that type of situation for the spooky season. Or you can pick you up, a piece like this. Bum, bum, bum. Mr. Art the Clown that says The Art of Art on the base here. And right here, this is a true, real saw blade. So, say you pick this up for your house to put on a shelf or whatever. Someone breaks into your house. I don't have a weapon handy. Yes, you do. You now have a throwing star right here. You've seen it in movies where they throw this at people and it comes at you and sticks in them. All that good stuff. So there's some more bloody horror for you right there. But this is a piece that will be sitting on my convention tables from now on. Well, hopefully not from now on, because hopefully someone will buy it and go on, And that would be awesome. But then we also have Mr. Billy the Puppet, and he's talking about Commando down there. I don't know if he's going Commando or if he likes the movie Commando. But right here, you got Billy the Puppet from Saw. I want to play a game. You all have not been buying artwork as much as I would like. It's time for you to start. Because if you don't, then from there, the Saw will come after you. But there you go. And it does say I want to play a game on here with the jigsaw puzzle happening right there again on a saw blade. There you go. I also have that one, Billy the Puppet, in a clock form. And yes, I'm sorry that it traumatized you as a kid. Commando had a lot of good stuff in it. It's a good movie. And, he was there to save his kid, right? So, and that was, crap. I'm trying to remember her name. Alyssa Milano. That's who it was. That was this kid in Commando. But yes, that was a fun movie. All the different fight scenes that they had in there, with all the different muscle bulked heroes out there. But it was a good movie. Because that muscle bulked hero, that was not the hero but the villain in that one, also starred in Mad Max. As the villain, one of the villains there. And I drew up a picture of him because he was going to be at a show, but then I think he ended up canceling as well. Had 3 cancellations that time. Tank Girl, she didn't show. Bruce Campbell didn't show, or Ash. And then him from Mad Max. I can't remember what his name is right off the top of my head. But he was the baddie on the motorcycle. Or in his car. Yeah, it was a motorcycle. And he didn't, all 3 of those didn't show up for the convention that year. And so it was a bummer because I was going to have all of them sign. I even had Bruce Campbell's book, How to Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way, talking about his life in the industry of the silver screen. So there you go. But he didn't show, so I didn't get an autograph. All right. So today's offering Let me break out the book. All right, so we put out there the Ash, Art the Clown, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Michael Myers, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The next offering is going to be Child's Play, Chucky. And this is the piece of artwork that will be out there soon. Up for sale, up for grabs. If you're a Chucky fan, you need this in your life. Bum, bum, bum. I'm your friend till the end. So that will be the one that's out there next. When it comes to the 30 Days of Horror, I think I've got at least 30 different items of horror that I can present to you over the next X amount of days. Since today is the 6th, Halloween is on the 31st, and that is 1, 2, 3 weeks away. Well, technically 4 weeks away because this is the start of week 2 of October. And there you go. So, be looking forward to Chucky being out there up for grabs next. And if you want to see what else is up for grabs, go check out my page. And from there, you can see my different items that I have up for sale right there. So, there you go. But welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. We are talking horror. We are talking Moonshiners because we met Mark and Digger just this past Saturday, as they are doing a tour promoting their drinks, if you will. 120 proof stuff, sometimes 80 proof on some other end. You know, it just depends on what flavor you're looking at. But welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. So, let's see. We watched Bring Her Back, another horror movie that just basically came out. And in the vein of weapons, if you will, it puts it into a what the hell did I just watch category. To me, it wasn't scary. It wasn't spooky, period. Um, it left me with a lot more questions than anything else. Um, because the opening scene say this is not a cult, you know, from a video that this woman is watching. Um, and I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of the spoilers for it, but it leaves you with a lot more questions than it does answers from the movie. And I'm talking about Bring Her Back, a horror movie. And they need to do a prequel movie to this one to Bring Her Back, involving the video footage from the VHS tape that the woman is watching, and they need to tell more about the coven, if you will, of people that are creating this scenario that's on the video. So, like I said, I don't want to give a whole bunch of spoilers to it because some people are going to watch it. And, one second out there. I can hear me up here. I'm going to switch over to my other microphone because apparently this one has died. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? My other microphone had died. All right, so I appreciate you telling me I was on mute. Because I check my microphone periodically, and this time it had gone out. All right, so, but anyway, we're talking about the movie Bring Her Back. And good morning, Mr. Roy. And good morning. What is your name? say Sawyer's Heart. Is that right? Um, Rick. Okay, cool. And so I want them to go into it's kind of like Weapons, where you get Gladys. I know most people have seen Weapons by now. Another horror movie that just came out. Josh Brolin, executive producer, blah blah blah. And there was a lot of questions surrounding Gladys, the witch in the show, if you will. So there were so many questions about Gladys. They're making a prequel to Weapons that's going to showcase Gladys in her own show, in her own movie. That's what I need them to do with Bring Her Back, because there's a lot of questions. This group that calls himself Not a Cult, on the videotape, the VHS tape, is more interesting than the movie was. Because there was so much stuff going on in that videotape. The movie just kind of, eh. Here, let me just throw this vomit out here at you, you know. And it was just like the movie was hard to get into. I mean, I get the premise of the movie. I get, the build up to certain things, but it's just like the movie was hard to get into. For a horror movie, that's kind of sad, you know. It started out good, all the different cut scenes and things like that from the VHS tape, the black and white footage, you know, the the lineage going through it, looking like you're watching an actual VHS tape and things like that. But once it came down to the movie itself, it was just like, eh. I'd rather watch the prequel now, if they do the prequel right. If they do a prequel, because I need a prequel, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that watched Bring Her Back and thought the same thing. Uh, but if you haven't seen Bring Her Back, go watch it. It's worth the watch. It's just slow. It's a very slow build up. Like I said, to me, the best parts of the movie were the VHS footage that she's watching, um, throughout the movie. She's watching a movie throughout the movie, and I mean, there's good scenes. There's some good. I say there's some decent bloody spots in there, for a horror movie, and it's not completely over the top. Um, I mean, hell, Butchers is a better series than, or a better. Yeah, there's three of them right now. I'm on number three right now. On Amazon Prime than what Bring Her Back was, and that's kind of sad, because I'm pretty sure Bring Her Back had a bigger budget than Butchers, and yeah, it's one of those movies that needs a prequel, only because I want to see what they were doing in the VHS tape that she's following along with, for certain aspects of the movie to flow, you and so I'm looking forward to, hopefully they do a prequel to it. If they don't, then we'll just all be wondering, what the hell happened and what the hell did I just watch. And that's why I'm glad they're doing a prequel to Weapons, so that you do get the Gladys backstory in there. And because Gladys just showing up in Weapons, and you know nothing about her other than, okay, she's a witch, and she's got this, you know power over people because of this black tree that she's got that's got thorns all over it. But yeah, we want to know more about Bring Her Back and the prequel. We need a prequel. guys, we need a prequel. Because, I mean, like I said, it was a decent movie, but it just left you questioning a lot of things. Um, 100% throughout the whole thing. And there were certain aspects where you wish something would have changed, or this would have happened, or that would have happened, but they've also left it open to a part two to bring her back. Um, Meaning they could change the title but still be in that same series. Like bring him back. Speaking of, what happens, some elements that happen in the movie and things of that nature. But there's a lot of different things that could go in that if they wanted to. Now, for me, I would do the prequel, which was this is the video. This is what this movie is based off of the VHS tape. Before you get to bring her back, where this all happens, and so that's what I would look. That's what I would want. But that's just me. I'm just a fan of horror, and I like questions answered. And sometimes you don't always get questions answered. When it comes to the horror movie, some people are just like, well, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit with it all. And that's honestly how some movies producers feel when it comes to the movies they've made. Now, if you've ever watched any trauma movies, such as The Class of Nukem High, Toxic Avenger, those type things, you get what you get. You know how the character was created. You see all the blood, guts, and gore. Um, Over the top comic gore, if you will. Um, just because, that's what those movies are about. They're about over the topness. They take the gore to a comedic level and beyond. You know, um, you got creatures with oozing pus pores and guts falling out of their body, and but they're still talking, walking, and moving around. Those type things, and not your zombie style. You know, um, what was that movie? Oh, 28 years later. Another disappointment of a movie. Final Destination Bloodlines was the start of the disappointments. Um, it was a very predictable movie. Uh, I was laughing through the whole movie. Um, for me, there wasn't a serious moment in Final Destination Bloodlines. It was just a filler piece. Um, because I knew exactly what was going to happen. You know, prior to any of the scenes happening, and it was just like, this is kind of sad to predict the whole movie and laugh through the whole movie. Um, I mean, I did like some of the stuff that they did, like the log truck and things like that they took from the first movie and brought into the element of the Final Destination side. And basically, what they're showing you is that Final Destination as a series could go on forever. And no, I didn't. Not like you in Twilight there, Mr. Roy, Joe, Twinkle Toes, Sparkle Butt, Bradley, Twilight Lover Jr. Um, because at the end of the show, they'll show this penny that caused the entire accident in the movie. Now, hopefully, most of you have seen Final Destination Bloodlines by now. And if you haven't, oh well. It's not that great of a movie. So at the end of the show, this penny shows back up. That was the penny that started the whole movie out in the beginning. Yeah, they've got the 20th anniversary books out now too, and it still doesn't appeal to me. So this penny hits the ground and rolls. Well, it's got a little blood trail going off of it. And now you start this whole rolling scenario, and then all these branches start coming off of this timeline for this penny. And it's just showing you that if we wanted to, uh, Final Destination could go on for forever. After this movie, I hope it doesn't. Because, I mean, unless you are wanting comedic gold in horror movies, have at it. I mean, it's kind of like Friday the 13th, how it became more comedic, especially in number 4 through 15, whatever they're on right now. I mean, at least with, you know, Roy's favoritist of shows. Let me dust it off because it is a little dusty here. Crusty and dusty, but still gold. His favoritist horror right here was Halloween, right there. A limited edition print right here, by the way. Autographed by the artist. It at least kept its horror element in it. Whereas A Nightmare on Elm Street started getting hokey. But it's one of my favorites, A Nightmare on Elm Street, you know. A lot of people didn't like number 1 because they thought there was too much comedy in there as well. But I loved the mix that they had. Am I too far away? Well, let me put it on both sides right there. There we go. Yeah, we still got the power. We got the power. Um, but it has its great moments of the blood, the the gore, you know, the nightmare effects. Just like Friday the 13th when it started out, the first 3 basically were good, and then after that it just went kind of campy, kind of hokey. Um, you know, especially with Jason 10, uh, where he's on the space station, you know, from cryo sleep. And then you've got, you know, Halloween, which is one of the most coherent in the line of movies, with a couple of hokey ones in there. Because they didn't put a whole bunch of comedy in their stuff. Now, there were some comedic moments in some of their shows and some of their movies. But for the most part, it's one of the most complete horror movies you're going to find in a series, you know? And Twilight cannot be taken seriously no matter what movie you watch. Um, just because that's how stupid Twilight is. Sorry, Roy. It is fucking stupid. Okay? And I honestly hope they do not make the new one based off of her new book, because we don't need any more damn sparkling vampires. Okay, vampires do not sparkle in the sun. They do not have, you know, silver glitter on their bodies when they walk out into the sun. They burst into fucking flames. Okay, and they turn into smoke and ash. Boom! After they blow up. I'm sorry. Stupidest books ever written. Stupidest movies ever made. Um, and now they're wanting to do a TV series of it as well. No, just stop. Just please, for the love of God, stop with the whole damn Twilight shit. I have to laugh every time I see anything Twilight related. I know a lot of people love it. I know there was Team Edward, Team Jacob, you know, all that shit. But no, no. Give it a rest already. Let it die and never come out of its coffin ever again. Um, I, yeah, no. I'm sorry. I just that's just the one series I can never get into. My kids drug me to the movie, and I laughed. I laughed. I laughed in the movie theater, especially once he exposed himself in the sun. I was like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. Come on. Oh, I know you guys like it, and I'm kudos to you guys because it sucks. The worst vampire series ever, next to the Vampire Diaries, next to what other vampire shows are out there. At least Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire TV series was much better than what that shit is. The Twilight series. You know, I'm sorry, I just can't. There's nothing that anybody could say that would sway me to ever love or even remotely like Twilight as a whole. Um, she should have just never written the books. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just my opinion. That is, and we all have our own opinions, just like everybody has their own assholes, you know, and we won't go into the rest of that. But, you know, but yeah, no. And see, I'm kicking myself because I thought about this while I was there. I was gonna get Mark and Digger one of these, right here, and I should have taken these with me and handed it to them, but I totally forgot, or they would have ended up with some of my artwork for themselves, you know. And well, everybody wants to talk about the Dallas Cowboys there, Roy, and you know this. Everybody likes that D in their mouth, and they can never get it out. So, it is what it is on that note. But, um, but everybody wants to talk about. I mean, even people were predicting that the Jets would beat us again. Because we haven't beat the Jets in 7 meetings, going to them and playing them. And this time, yes, we got lax in the fourth quarter after we had a 37-10 lead or whatever it was, and then we let them score some points, and we kept letting them score 2-point conversions, all that good stuff. But it is what it is. We beat them. We move on. Everybody lost except for the Deadskins. I mean, the Commanders or whatever they're called now. They ended up beating, the Chargers, and so they have a winning record now of 3-2, and we're at 2-2-1, or we should be at 3-2 ourselves. But it is what it is. In that note, I'm listening because the animal kids are in the house right now, and I'm hearing movement. But I think I'm gonna have to go take care of them. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody being here that stopped in and checked us out. Don't forget to check us out more by checking out our latest horror offering pretty soon. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.